seen the Skoda Superb and the Honda Accord on overdrive before, but not quite in this fashion. Bert and Sirish get their hands on the V6 variants of these cars. They hit the road to find out what the fuss is all about.
There was a time when the holy grail of automotive performance meant a car with a V6 engine. But back in the day, those cars were frightfully expensive. But they were also the epitome of power and performance. Fortunately or not, that gap has been bridged. Case in point, the new Skoda Superb. It is a luxurious and comfortable car, but it is also an everyday car. And it now comes with a V6 engine. But apart from that engine, it also gets four-wheel drive. But then this test, we've tried to find out just how good a V6 engine is. And to do that, we've brought along our perennial favorite, the Honda Accord. Hey Sirish.
Hi Bert. And you're right, like every Honda, the Accord 2 has been a great favorite with everybody at Overdrive. We've had 3 generations of the Accord over the past 8 years in India, and all have earned the tag of best in class, including this, the 8th generation Accord. And like every new generation, this too has grown. It's become longer, it's become wider, it's become plusher, and it has become fatter. And to account for that extra weight, this one gets a massive engine. It's a 3.5 litre V6 engine. And Bert, besting this is going to take some doing on the Superb spot.
I think so too.
Let's find out. India gets the American version of the Accord, which is slightly bigger than the European version, to account for 6-foot plus NBA players, 20-pound hamburgers, and 1.5 litre cans of Coke. And that's why there's lots of space inside the car. But because America does not have any corners, this car is softly sprung. It is plush, but it is soft. And inside, it feels like a typical Japanese car. It is plasticky, and if I'm being honest, does not feel very high quality. There are these big buttons, but when you press it, it doesn't have the tactile feel that you get from German cars. It's too many buttons, but where you need buttons, audio controls for the steering wheel, that is missing. And I find that absurd.
Personally, I'm very impressed with the interiors of the new Superb. Not only is it luxurious and rich, but it's also got this typically Teutonic build quality and finish. The shut lines are impeccable, they're millimeter perfect, and everything inside this cabin feels like it's built to last. And then it also has a host of features, but the one that does it for me is the touchscreen display. It not only controls the radio and the other media systems, but it also controls several other functions as well. The Superb's V6 engine is the least powerful engine amongst this duo. According to the numbers, it has a slightly higher displacement, but it makes lesser power and torque compared to the Accord. It makes 263 PS of max power and about 350 Newton meters of max torque. But then where refinement, efficiency and performance are concerned, that means little, because the Superb's V6 is a very refined, silent, smooth, efficient, and has got fantastic performance to boot as well. Apart from a V6 engine, you also get a DSG transmission with paddle shifts on the steering wheel. But you also get four-wheel drive, which is pretty unique to a car in this segment or any other for that matter.
This V6 engine displaces 3.5 litres and kicks out 275 horsepower. Together, it gives it a 0 to 100 time of 8.7 seconds, which is rather quick for a car of this size. But uniquely, this is also an engine that likes to save fuel. It gets variable cylinder management, and what that does is, when you're driving peacefully and calmly, it automatically deactivates 3 cylinders. The Accord then is running on only 3 cylinders, thus saving fuel and reducing emissions. Together, it gives us an overall fuel economy of 8 kilometers to the litre. This car also gets paddles behind the wheel, and when you shift down a gear, this thing holds on to a gear, so you can bang it against the rev limiter.
And think now would be a good time to change cars and see just how good the other V6 is.
Be my guest, Bert.
Thanks, Suresh. Keys are in the car.
Suresh mentioned earlier that the new 8th generation Accord had grown wider, longer and heavier. And you know what? It's true. This Accord does feel fatter. The dynamics aren't that sharp and stability, well, it's not all that great. And all of that has to do with the Accord being a front-wheel drive car, unlike the Superb, which is a four-wheel drive car.
Four-wheel drive, it really makes a world of difference. The cornering grip on this car is really excellent. Okay, there's not much in the way of feel or feedback. But then again, that's not what this car is all about, is it? This is a car that's meant to be a luxury automobile. A car where the owners sit at the back and the drivers sit here. But if you love to drive, then this car is really, really good. And it also adds an added safety net. In the wet, this thing grips reassuringly. It gives you the confidence to push hard and fast, and you know that it will stick around corners.
So Suresh, at the end of today's drive, there's one thought that came to mind. None of these V6 engines actually make these everyday cars all that special.
I agree with you. If you compare it with, say, the 4-cylinder in the Superb, the V6 is slightly more powerful. Because of the four-wheel drive, it has slightly better handling. But really, it doesn't transform the car. It is just that wee bit extra. If you're spending so much money, you'd expect something spectacular. And you're right, it's not spectacular.
True.
But let's get down to what we've come to do. Which is the best entry-level V6? But what do you think of the Accord?
I think the Accord is a brilliant car altogether. It's a very nice package. It's a very comfortable car to be driven in. But if I had to drive a car, I think I'd choose a Superb.
Yeah, and ultimately, when you're spending almost 30 lakh rupees on either the Accord V6 or the Superb V6, I think this would make more sense. You get so much more equipment. And I think the way the whole car is packaged, the way the whole car is put together, it puts it on a different level to the Accord. Okay, that's great if you want to be chauffeur driven in, but if you want toys, if you want to play around with your car, if you love driving, this I think is the car.
So, there you have it.
The Superb V6 4x4
Is the choice for today.